Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
They don't call him general or king. They called him Kukul Khan.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening when you're listening to this podcast. It is the Stuff and Things podcast, and from the introduction, I'm sure you can tell this is our Marvel special podcast talking all about the Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I am joined today by superfan Kaylee.
Hello, I've missed you. I've missed you both. It's been a while.
And of course, also joining us is the legendary normal host. It is Sam.
Never ever been described as legendary or normal in the same sentence, but thank you very much, and hello everybody.
How are we doing, guys?
Good.
I'm cold. I'm all right, but I'm cold.
It's definitely winter, isn't it? It's definitely winter.
It's getting there. Yeah, it is getting there.
So, today's podcast, we're going to be talking about Wakanda Forever. All three of us have now seen it. We've left it long enough for, hopefully, everyone else to have seen it now, so there should be no spoilers. If you haven't seen the film yet, and this is just kind of synced onto your streaming service as like the next playable podcast, pause it and come back once you have seen it, because there will be lots of spoilers ahead. Probably a lot of tears as well from Kaylee, I'm guessing, because... of all the messages we've had, you found this a rather emotional film, hey?
I thought I was over it, but after this morning and kind of preparing myself for today, it's just all come back, and I've cried twice this morning just reading my notes. So we're on track for an emotional one from me today, I think. She said laughing through the tears.
So Sam, you're going to have to be Sam's going to have to be the rock, I feel, of this one, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay. It's all good. Kaylee, I know this film hit like a real kind of emotional tone, and the fact that she's cried twice this morning. Although that's not uncommon for women to feel that way before speaking to me on the phone, so that's okay. I think it could just be normal.
So. I have, as I am the one leading the desk today, which is a new thing for the listeners as well, I have got like a rundown of things I want to kind of talk through, and I'm sure we will go off on many tangents, and hopefully I'll work my way through my notes, which is new for me, having notes, I must admit. This is the new thing. Sam today gets to go full Stefan with no notes and wing it.
Yeah, it's really fun. Is this what it feels like every show we do to you?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
I wait for you to say something interesting and go, yes, and join in on it.
Damn, this is refreshing. You may have screwed yourself here. This could be a new thing.
Oh, that's good, because I'm
Do you feel like you've lost control, Sam?
No, because I still got the button. I can just cut him off anytime I like, and he knows it. No.
Yeah. This is true. So we're going to start at the very beginning. I'm actually going to go back as far as the trailers.
Okay.
They launched. I remember me and Sam spoke about this in messages, and I'm sure we spoke to you as well, Kaylee, on the messages about the trailers for this film. When they dropped the very first trailer for Wakanda Forever, and it kind of all it showed us at the very end was just like the feet of a Black Panther landing, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of where all the hype started, because they showed nothing really. We knew the film was coming, but there was nothing, and the hype was unreal. And then they kind of seemed to drop like another 300 trailers after that. And it got to the stage of, by the time I actually went into the cinema to see the film, there was a real concern for me that I had already seen the movie.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to know, what were your opinions on the trailers? Was there too many trailers? Do you think they showed too much? Sam, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because way I look at trailers is the idea behind it is to try and get you excited and to try and get you to go and watch the movie. When it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm not entirely convinced they even need to do that now. You got such a hardcore fan base that they release a film and the fans are going to go and watch it. But that being said, the first trailer for this film had me a little kind of emotion to it because of the music and the tone. It was pretty clear we were seeing the funeral for T'Challa in the trailer, which of course immediately hit because of what's happened with Chadwick Boseman, and then you kind of went to these like flashes of action, which were just like, oh wow, this film looks epic in scale. And as you said, you saw the feat of a new Black Panther. You had no idea who that was going to be, and for me, that was kind of one of the big things going into the film that I was looking forward to see who would take up the mantle, to see who and how they would do that, because it was quite a tricky thing. Once they made the decision not to recast, it was going to be difficult how they did that, and I was looking forward to it. But yeah, so for me, actually, no, the trailers kind of pissed me off because they ruined it. To me, that was like one of the key parts of the film, and I knew it before I went in. So there you go. Yeah, let's kick off with a negative.
And Kaylee, what was your thoughts towards all the trailers?
Well, the first one, obviously, you guys know I had an absolute breakdown when when it came out. The second one, again, just built so much up towards it, and then from that point, it may have even been a third clip that I'd seen. I made a really conscious decision not to watch anymore.
Yeah.
Anytime, I was on social media or anything like that, I would purposefully scroll past because I really didn't want to go into the movie feeling like I'd seen it. Yeah. And I didn't. There was still quite a lot that was probably in some of those trailers that I still haven't seen, that I hadn't seen at that point. So yeah. I've really tried, and not just with this, with other Marvel shows, with other films, tried to avoid too many trailers because I just knew that I'd either walk into the screen crying before anything had even happened, or I'd feel disappointed because I'd felt like I'd seen it. So I know that I only watched the first two for sure, maybe a third. I can't even remember now because it's been that long. Yeah. So yeah, I recommend doing that for any, when Ant-Man trailers start flying around, and I'm not going to watch them. I might watch the first one and that's it. Yeah,
that's sensible.
That's not a bad plan. I've already seen we've already had the first trailer with Ant-Man come out, but I think you could be right there. I might just stop there and go into it. Yeah, no, I was unfortunately quite similar to Sam's way of thinking. By the time I'd kind of got into the movie theatre, I was kind of like, well, I know who the Black Panther is. We know all about the bad guy and stuff. So it was a little bit... And I think you're probably right as well, Sam, in the sense of if Marvel were just to say, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, coming out on this date, they could literally put that on the screen and the Marvel fan base now would be like, yes, I am there.
You know that if we did that, we would still find ways to really analyse, 3 words on a screen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The writing is slightly this colour. That must mean...
There's no trailer for this film, so that clearly means there's going to be a trailer within the film. Ooh,
my God, what are they hiding? How big an event is happening?
Yeah, I remember when Spider-Man was coming out, the third one, and there hadn't been a trailer for it for ages, and basically they were off the schedule for when the trailer should have come out, and it was weeks and weeks went by, and the social media storm around that was insane. Like, people were just every day, where is the trailer? Where is the trailer? And then when it finally dropped, people were semi-orgasmic over it. And I remember watching, oh, that looks good. But yeah, people lost their damn minds. So I'm of the opinion, like Katie just said then, about the initial trailers are always the one that gets you excited. And then it feels like they drip you too much information from everything else. Because they don't only do trailers, they do TV spots as well.
Yeah.
Where they literally do 10-second clips from the film. And they do 10 of those. And so they do them from different points. So I'm watching Wakanda Forever. There was a lot of that film I had already seen a scene from ahead of doing it. And it was all official releases. That's nothing that had been leaked or nothing that had been pirated online. These are all official trailers, official TV spots. So yeah, I went through the film and there were very few surprises, which is a bit sad.
So Marvel, if you're listening, the next film 2 trailers and then nothing else. And I guarantee it works.
They are listening, but whether they listen to us in that way, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Do we have that sort of poll yet? I don't know.
No.
So, Kaylee, we're going to talk about the tributes in the film opening and like the tribute to Chadwick and T'Challa's passing. Now, have you got the tissues ready?
Do you know what I have?
You have, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Just making sure. So the movie starts with the character of T'Challa passing away, and I don't know, it was one of those scenes in a movie. Like, now, anyone that listens to the podcast knows how I was when Tony Stark died in the film, and I ugly cried in the cinema. But that was just a character on a screen passing away. There was something about the beginning of this film really hit me on a completely different level. Knowing kind of what had happened in real life and the fact this wasn't just a character on the screen passing away, I found this really difficult to watch.
Did you? Sorry to interject. Did you find it difficult to watch because it was just emotional, really well done, like a really good scene, or did you find it difficult to watch because actually it was uncomfortable that they were dramatising actual person's death?
I think about a 50-50 split, if I'm honest. I was very...
Oh, you sit on that fence.
No,
come on, pick a side, man.
No, I have reason for it. So it was emotional in the sense of I knew that this, not just this character had gone, but the actor and the person himself had gone.
Yeah.
And then they made it this incurable disease as well, which kind of, considering he died from cancer, it was kind of like, wow, wait a minute. They're not even kind of... I think we spoke on the podcast before about maybe we could potentially see the Black Panther dying on screen in like some heroic act, just in the suit or something. But they didn't. They went down the incurable disease line.
Yeah.
And I think that then suddenly went from really emotional, uncomfortable to just, oh no, that's a bit too lifelike, on point. Actually, that made me feel a bit and especially. Watching the reaction of the characters on the screen as well to what was happening, it all felt, it's going to sound really silly, it felt too real in that sense for me. We'll go to Kaylee. What did you kind of make of those opening scenes?
Well, I mean, through the tears, it was real grief for me. And enjoy is the wrong word, but I liked the fact that it wasn't, a battle off screen and just some random person in a suit, because I think that would have done him an injustice. And I think Chadwick, he would have, signed off on whatever they wanted to do. I don't think that they have, sullied his name in any way or kind of played up on the fact that, somebody's died. I think it was beautiful, and I think they did it really well. And if it had been any other way, I don't think I would have appreciated it as much, because it gave me almost an outlet to mourn him as well as the character. When he passed away, I was devastated. Mm-hmm. But I don't know him. He doesn't know me. He's just a famous person who's out of reach. But the film gave me a real outlet to kind of mourn him and his character, so I appreciated that. Does that make sense? Like, I probably
that makes sense. No, you're right.
I'm crazy fangirl, but I needed to. It was cathartic for me. I needed to do that.
No, that completely makes sense. Like, me and Sam had this conversation before. Actually, I think it was around when the Queen of England passed away. Of this kind of feeling of someone that you don't know has passed away. So you kind of get left with that strange feeling of you know who they are, but you've never met them. You don't have any relationship with them. So
yeah, do you have a right to mourn somebody that you've never met? Absolutely, and this is what that first 10 seconds of that film gave me.
Nice. Okay, Sam, your thoughts between the opening? Any more thoughts on the opening opening scene? Sorry.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to make me very popular. I didn't like it at all.
Okay, this is why
it made me feel uneasy because I looked at that and all I could see it through was the eyes of his family. So if I lost someone to cancer, unfortunately I have, and I think all of us have lost someone to something, or to cancer indeed. The idea of reliving that on the big screen, I know they didn't say cancer, I know you didn't see him dying, but I just felt it just took me out completely. Like, I wasn't looking at that as, this is T'Challa dying, I'm looking at that as Chadwick. And
Okay.
I'm looking at it thinking, I don't know why you would do this. Kaylee just, pointed out exactly from her point of view, and perhaps that is how the vast majority of fans felt, and therefore they've done brilliantly. I can only speak to me, and to me, I just sat there feeling, if this was a member of my family who passed away, would I be happy with that they've dramatised this? And absolutely not.
No, how would you have preferred? Would you have preferred kind of like the action scene going out? I mean, we spoke about like a flood or something, and him saving a child and being washed away, or.
To be honest with you, preference wise, I don't know. I don't think there is a perfect way of doing it. As we actually got closer to the film, so when they announced that they weren't going to recast T'Challa, and they were going to, in essence, kill the character off and continue from there, I thought that was the right way to go, all the way up until I saw the film. Now I've watched the film, there's a big part of me that kind of wishes they'd recast.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there is a right way. I mean, Kaylee kind of hit the nail on the head then, if you'd done that like combat scene or something, everyone would have known it wasn't him in the suit. It just would have possibly felt cheapened, in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I just felt really uneasy. I didn't like that. But then on the flip side, when they went into the funeral scene, which was kind of like a celebration, if you like, of T'Challa, I was then back into the film. That felt more character driven to me, not so that felt more about T'Challa and less about Chadwick.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is my next bullet point I have on my list, actually.
That worked out well. We've done this before.
We are good at this. No, my next thing was like the actual the tributes to T'Challa going kind of through the movie. There's a few different moments through the movie that either Chadwick himself or T'Challa are kind of tributed towards. The first one being that funeral scene. Now, I thought the funeral scene was incredible. For me, it was a lump in the throat moment. I'm sure for you, Kaylee, it was a full-on tear moment.
Ugly crying,
Ugly crying,
hand, snot, hyperventilating. Yeah.
Oh, you went full on then.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
There's no way I'm going to the cinema with her anytime soon.
No, I thought I was bad, but yeah, wow.
No way.
The actual funeral scene itself, I really enjoyed. Like, it was a celebration, kind of more than a mourning sort of thing, which I know for those cultures is a big thing for them when you get to the funerals. And for me, see, this is where Katie mentioned earlier, like, I felt like you just said, Sam, about it being like for T'Challa himself. Whereas I actually went the other way, more like with Katie went with, like, watching that kind of thinking to myself, that was almost like their way of saying goodbye to Chadwick in a proper, like, in a big way.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that scene, and there's a few other bits throughout the film where they do kind of mention. I know Riri's character pulls a direct quote that Chadwick Boseman said at a speech at a award ceremony, and I really enjoyed just the small little tributes to him that went through the film.
Yeah, which were perfect. I agree.
Yeah, and yourself, Kaylee, did you agree or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was too in the moment at the time to appreciate them, but the more you think about it and the more you see it, the more you can just feel the love for him through the whole movie, which I loved.
Yep.
Okay, so let's dive into some characters and their story arcs as it goes through the film. Shuri being the obvious character to start with. Her character starts off with this whole absolute devastation of losing her brother. Yeah. We watch her go through like the stages of grief almost, you know. She starts off, it's her fault for not being able to save him. the absolute despair of losing him. We then go through the anger where we see kind of basically manifest with her actually meeting Killmonger when she goes to the ancestral plane, her becoming the Black Panther, and we kind of get this whole journey with her. I'm going to go to you first, Sam, because I know your thoughts already on this, and I feel like if I go to you first, then Kaylee can bring us back out the other end. Is my theory here. For me, myself, watching Shuri go through this, I enjoy, again, is maybe the wrong word, but I enjoyed watching this character go through this story arc to come out where it did at the other end.
Okay.
I enjoyed her scenes with Okoye going to the school and stuff. She's still.
I feel like I'm being set up here.
A little bit. In the first film, we kind of saw her as almost like a comedic sidekick. I'm glad she kept the comedy side in this film as well, with the little jokes and things. So I think that is very much her character. But Sam, go on. You tell us about what you thought of Shuri's story arc and going forward.
So first of all, this is where I normally host, because I can steer conversations in a way where I don't make myself come across as the asshole. So yeah, this little experiment today, actually no, this is it. This is one and done. Okay, so what do I think about Shuri? Okay, so first of all, Shuri's character in the first Black Panther movie, I fell in love with that character. Absolutely incredible. I love the idea of someone who was young. I love the fact it was a strong female character as well, who was embracing her culture, but at the same time wanted to be part of the Western world as well. The kind of line she delivered, the sibling banter between her and T'Challa made a lot of that film for me joyful.
Yep.
So her ability in that film and her characterization in that film was phenomenal. So anytime seeing her again, I'd be excited for that. Any chance to see her again.
All positive so far. Yeah.
All positive. So let's go into this. Any scene in this film where she was part of a duo double act for a moment was enjoyable and stand out. You mentioned her going to the school to find Riri. It was her and Okoye. I think it was Okoye in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And they go. The interaction between them is phenomenal. The lines, the dialogue, playing off each other. Her scenes with Riri, again, phenomenal. The dialogue back and forth are great. And this is where I'm going to sound like a horrible git. I do not think she was strong enough to carry the film by herself. In scenes where it was her, except for one scene at the very end of the movie, when it was scenes where it was her and she was needing to drive things and where she was needed to be the leading actor, I wasn't buying into it. And for her to take up the mantle of Black Panther, not for me. It just didn't seem to work for me at all, which was really frustrating. But there was one thing in the film, I hope you don't mind me kind of stealing this just for a second.
Go on.
One of the things from the first film that I wondered how in the hell they were going to address it in the second. And bear in mind, they had so many massive things to deal with when Chadwick passed away of how they would address it in the film, was the fact that Killmonger destroyed all of that, sacred herb stuff, so they couldn't make another Black Panther.
Yes.
So that to me was kind of like a major thing of like, how are they going to get around that? What's going to be, how are they going to deal with it? I kind of felt the way they scripted it in as not only her trying to recreate it to try and save her brother initially, but the fact that she was trying to recreate it, so the way they scripted that I thought was brilliant, very, very clever.
Yep, I agree.
And obviously her then actually mastering it and going forward. But yes, you set me up there.
I'm sorry.
Letitia Wright, who I've got a warm regard for acting wise, I just didn't think held it together enough for me as compared to some people. So there we go. I'll now go sit in the shame corner and let you all badmouth me.
No, it's fine, because Kaylee is now going to bring us back out the other side.
Well, I
no, that wasn't a
agree.
good start.
No. So the first 80% of what Sam said, I agree with. You know, she is brilliant. She is funny. She, you know, I really relate to her. You know, she's that.
Yeah.
You know, she's a Wally like I am.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
You know, but you can see that she's got this quality about her that, you know, she can grow into that leader position. You know, she's young, she's fun, she's, like you say, torn between, you know, the Western world and her culture. At some point, she is going to land on either side, you know, and I think going forward, what we're going to see from her, and I'm glad we didn't see it in this film to the extent that I think, Sam, you were probably expecting or hoping for her to kind of land. You know, she's a young girl. She's not got the worldly experience of, you know, somebody who's, you know, led a kingdom or had these tragic things happen to her. That comes with time. Yeah. And I don't think it would have done her justice to just go, oh, you know, my brother died and now I'm Black Panther. I'm all of these wonderful things and, you know, I've nailed it. Yeah. That's not true to life. That's not going to happen. All of this stuff is going to come with time for her. And I think going forward, what we're going to see is her growing into that role. And there's going to be 100 other things that are going to happen to her to round out her being and her relationship with everyone else in Wakanda and all of the rest of the characters in the MCU. She will get to that point. I don't think it would have been a wise decision to do that in this film because it would have been too quick and we wouldn't have believed it. Okay. I don't think that growth could have come that quickly. You know, you can't have an epic battle scene with one person and then be this fantastic leader. It doesn't happen like that. No,
but I think it was brilliant. Do you feel then that what I perceived as lack of ability acting-wise was actually the way it was meant to be scripted?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because okay. I don't think that, you know, I think she's a fantastic actress, and I think those moments when you see her on her own, I think personally that she holds it really well. Okay. Because you can see the vulnerability, and that might come across to some as she's shit, but actually she's having an internal Shuri, not Letitia. Shuri is having this internal battle with herself that makes her vulnerable and makes her a scared child because she is young, you know, and that's what I can see. Not she's not holding her own.
Okay, different opinions. I like it. As always, the podcast. Very boring if you would agree the same thing.
I might be very slightly leaning towards she is my girl and I'm going to stick up for her.
Only slightly though.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine, and it's like I said. When you see the thing is when you look at someone who's acting in their characterization and you're looking at different scenes. If I looked at every scene in the entire film with her in it and rolled my eyes, I'd say it's just an actor that's not for me, you know, or this character is not for me. But it's not that, you know. All the way through this film, there are different interactions where she's, like I said, in a duo situation and stuff like that, and I'm really into it. I'm really kind of, even when she's when she's taken and she's with Namor and, you know, under the water, the interaction between those two I thought were brilliant. You know, the kind of conversations they were having, fantastic. But then just there are moments where she was having to do things, and I don't know, I just didn't buy into it. But
I will say that in the first 8 seconds, I think it was, I texted Stefan after I came out of the film. Yeah. Within the first 8 seconds, she said 2 words that just broke me, and that was when she said 31%, and that was 3 words, and that started the whole ball rolling, the tears, the flood, because I knew instantly at that point that was it for me. And for somebody to say 3 words and make me feel like that, I think that makes a very credible actress.
Okay,
cool.
Or a very emotional Kaylee, one or the other.
It could be both, but I'm going with.
I mean, you were convinced that you were pregnant for about 2 weeks after seeing this film.
I did.
How emotional you were. So.
I'd like to point out that for legal reasons, that has nothing to do with anyone on this podcast.
I had to come home after watching the film and have a nap because I was so wrung out.
I was so worried about where that was going then.
Yeah.
I had to come home after watching that film and pee on a stick to make sure I was not expecting.
I was really worried for a good week because I just kept crying. Every time my phone went, I was, because somebody had spoken to me about Black Panther, you know.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, at least I know if I want to set you off now, at least I know what I need to do. Yeah.
Just start playing Rihanna and it's fine, yeah.
Lift me up. No, there you go. Ruined it.
Don't.
No, Samuel, stop it. Yeah.
Stop. We'll move on. The next character I want to talk about is actually kind of the baddie for this movie, Namor. A bit of a kind of like what you say, almost like an anti-villain, really. Like, I was watching this movie, and the whole way through this movie, at no point did I kind of sit there and go, "Oh, he's a real big bad guy."
See, I love that because I did.
Oh, really?
And yet, everywhere I go, I see him described as anti-hero, anti-villain.
Yeah,
I can see both sides. To me, he's a straight-up asshole this entire film.
Wow. See, yeah, for me, I didn't... I was kind of looking at it, and it was one of those situations where I always like to put myself on the other side. So I'm looking at it from his point of view. He's got his community. He's trying to protect them. The Western world is coming in underwater, trying to find the vibranium and getting very close to his homeland. And the people that he expects to be able to kind of go to for help, the Wakandans, have turned around and gone, "Nah, I'm good. You got your own problems. Go deal with them." So looking at it,
go to them for help.
Wow, he kind of asks for a bit of an alliance.
He threatens them.
In a sense.
Well, not in a sense. That's like me walking up to you saying, "Hey, mate, here's a gun. If you don't do what I say, I'm going to shoot your pregnant wife." And you going, "Nice of you to ask for my help, Samuel. I'll do that right away for you." Not at all. The guy's an asshole.
See, I looked at it as him kind of trying to protect his people. And okay. Kaylee, what side of the fence were you on?
Yeah, Kaylee, you better step in. I'm going to go find some whiskey or something.
It's funny listening to you two. So my take was a little bit different. Again, for me, he almost feels like a petulant child with a really shitty attitude towards, other people. That's what I got from it.
Yeah,
I don't see him as this, big bad. At this point, I think he's probably, got undertones of villainous behaviour. But for me, it was almost, I'm going to have a tantrum because I'm not getting my way. That's what I kind of felt. And then it was, well, I'll try another tactic because I didn't get my way. And I'll try this and I'll do that. It was questionable for me. I don't have strong feelings either way, other than he probably, needs a hug.
He probably needs a hug. He needs a kick in the crotch.
I love the fact we've all gone for completely different takes on the same character.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a guy trying to protect his people. Sam's gone for psychopath and Kaylee's
Screw
gone
that guy.
Needs a hug.
that was interesting.
I like that. Going forward, so we see obviously at the end of the film, Shuri and Namor kind of make this pact almost. She doesn't kill him. He kind of leaves them alone. And then we see like his last conversation is kind of like basically we'll sit and we'll wait for an opportunity.
Yeah.
So
he's an asshole.
I mean, that bit wasn't great for him, was it? I didn't put him in a great light. But when...
That's what I mean. I didn't get my way. I'm going to have a tantrum. That's what I took from that.
I'm going to sit here and sulk until I can get a chance again.
Yeah.
It's just toddler level. Yeah.
Only child syndrome. I'm an only child, by the way. I'm allowed to do that.
Talking of getting that chance again, where do you see Namor reappearing?
As in, where would I like him to reappear, or where do I believe he will reappear?
Where do you believe he's going to reappear in the MCU now that we know he's kind of sitting in wait? I'm kind of like looking at the films and things that we've got coming up. My only thought is potentially the Ironheart series, which would link them together. But apart from that, I don't see any obvious.
For me, I think Captain America 4, New World Order. Because to me, in this film, we kind of hint heavily towards the US government and other governments around the world have decided that Wakanda having the monopoly over this incredible metal is not good. And they want it. Redesign this. Yeah, bloody French. Redesigned this detector to find it, and they found it under the water.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way at all, if they've made that decision, that's the end of it. We saw Val heavily in this film, a character I didn't expect to see, by the way.
No.
The former Mrs. Ross, which really disturbed me.
We shall get on to that one, don't you worry. That is on my notes.
Yeah. But the fact that she's going to be leading this sort of Thunderbolts team, we know that. We got a movie, the Thunderbolt. I think there's something's going to happen that's going to give Namor excuse to kick the shit out of somebody again. Not that I think he needs much of an excuse.
Or to ask nicely, Phil. Yeah, it could be either one.
Yeah, I mean, if he just showed up and said, "Hey, this is happening, would you mind helping me?" I'd probably feel for the guy, but he didn't. He showed up making threats. And, by the way, carried them out. He murdered the Queen, and you're like, oh, what a nice guy.
I'm not saying nice guy. I'm just, he didn't strike me as a
He
Kane or a
murdered
Thanos,
the Queen. By the way, here's another thing, right?
Yeah.
So you set me off now. Shuri, in this film, goes with the Queen to try and do this ceremony where they burn the robes from the funeral, and it helps with the moving on process from T'Challa's death.
Yeah.
At the end of the film, she does that. She's finally able to do it. And that scene at the end, by the way, is beautiful.
Yeah.
Rihanna playing, Kaylee sobbing like hell. That was a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
However, did anyone else pick up the fact that basically she obviously didn't give a shit about her mother? Because her mum died, and it's like, oh well.
No.
Just me? That whole end scene's like, I've lost my brother, which was the whole film, obviously.
Yeah.
But at no point in that end scene was it, I've lost my mother and my brother.
No, I think she took the robes for her mother. Her mother wanted her to do it. She couldn't do it. And it was almost out of respect for, and love for her mum that she finally felt the courage and the strength to be able to do it.
Is that why her mother featured so heavily in the montage? No, wait, she wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't about her.
No,
it wasn't about her. See, this is my point. The film was about the passing of the individual, the actor, not the character. This is a film. This is escapism. I don't want to go there and mourn somebody. I want escapism. Now, T'Challa's died. I get it. That's in the script. You're going to make that happen. But her mother died as well. So you're expecting me to believe, as an individual, I lose my brother and my mother in really quite close together, but I'm only mourning one of them?
But no, she is mourning her mum.
How? How do they depict that at the end?
But you can't have a, it'd be never ending. It'd be too much. She chose to respect her mother's wishes and carry on with the tradition by burning her food. She'll probably have done it separately for her mum with the rest of her people.
Yeah.
But her brother was particularly private.
Ding, ding.
That's what I'm going.
End of round one.
Yeah, okay. All right, fair enough.
I'm gonna be. I feel bad for doing this now, but actually, I kind of agree with Sam on this one. I feel bad
in your
for doing
face,
it now.
Crybaby.
I did feel.
There's an only child tantrum coming. Watch it.
Yeah.
No,
Careful, she'll be threatening us next, asking for help.
I did watch the movie, and when the Queen is actually the next person I've got on my list to talk about, so we'll go into that nicely, actually. Throughout the movie, we kind of see that the Queen gets a bigger and bigger part as the movie kind of goes on, with her being, the leading of Wakanda now. We see her in like the embassy meetings and things, and how she's getting threatened by Europe. And then I love the scene where they then march those French soldiers in whilst France are going, but you're dangerous. You're Oh yeah, that was us. We invaded you. Sorry, whoopsie.
Yeah. By the way, just speaking as someone who's obviously British, I did kind of feel like the obvious thing there would have been it to have been Britain, very colonial. So I'm kind of glad they went with the French for so many reasons.
I loved it. Yeah, especially as a Brit. So bad French. But the Queen. She goes to this movie, and when we have the Queen die as well, I did feel like the Queen's death was almost like done and then moved on from incredibly quickly. Bearing in mind, the whole film is all about the kind of mourning and loss of T'Challa. I did expect more in the second half of the film once the Queen had died. I did expect there to be a bit more around her death and the mourning side of it. I must be honest.
Yeah, but mate, there's only so much time in a film, you know. There's only so much you can actually show. So come on.
It'd be never ending.
Come on now.
Yeah, I think it was enough. It gave I didn't know that was going to happen. I was completely
amazingly that wasn't in the trailer. Yeah.
And that was a real kind of, and that's obviously set me off again, as you'd expect. And it was a real kind of moment for me. But it all, in my bones, it was, you have to fix this. And it was the motivation almost to get me through the next part of the film, you know, for sure. You know, is 2 family members are now gone. The motivation is doubled. And the what's the word? There's a word I'm trying to think of and I can't think of it. But it would almost be like a rocket up the backside to show these people, you know, I am angry. Yeah. And I think that, again, you know, moving forward is going to be what gets her going.
So kind of more T'Challa was grief and Queen Ramonda is more like revenge in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Revenge. Best served cold.
Okay. The next.
But Angela Bassett is a queen. That scene in the embassy. Yes. I was right there with her, thinking, I'm trying not to swear. You tell them, you know.
You can fucking swear all you want, my love. You say what you got to say.
You've already dropped a few of the swears, so we're in there now. Yeah.
Yeah. But this podcast has a permanent explicit rating, not because I go out to swear, but because Stefan makes me.
I mean, yeah, I get told off on some of the podcasts for dropping language I shouldn't do. So yeah. It just happens.
Mostly when we're talking about like Star Wars and stuff. There's a lot of kids who listen to that.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about getting your cock out singing hello there.
No, we don't talk about that because that was not a...
Sorry, yeah, I'll edit that.
Move on now. Yeah. I don't need to hear about it.
Ding dong.
The next character I'd like us to all discuss is a character that, for one reason or another, has had a lot of things said about them on social media. Positive and negative.
Okay.
And that is Riri. Riri Williams, aka Ironheart.
There's negative about Riri? That surprises me.
So all the positive is about the character Riri and the way she comes across. The fact that, for me, I thought it was I thought she played the character absolutely perfect. Like, you've got this kind of nerdy kind of genius, but the opposite side of the spectrum to Peter Parker. Peter Parker is kind of like this kind of like real like nerdy but kind of shy introvert kid. And then you've got Riri, who's out there full on like entrepreneuring people's grades for them. You know, she's the complete other end of the spectrum, and I loved that. And then you have the Ironheart character. Well, more to be the suit itself.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Yeah, it was shite.
Yeah, the Power Ranger, as it's called quite a lot on social media.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were just discussing Riri. Yeah, I can't see any negatives there. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's going to be a certain knuckle dragging brigade that are going to be like, oh no, young female black character. But I thought she was brilliant. I didn't know Ironheart at all, so I didn't know Riri. I've not read any of the books or anything for that. So this was my first introduction, and from like minute one, I was like, oh, I like you.
Yeah, this is a character. Now, the only introduction to Ironheart I had was I used to get the Funko Pops mystery box. So it's like a monthly subscription, and every month you get like 2 or 3 Funkos turn up. Yeah, on like the second or third box I got was this Ironheart character. And I opened the box up and I'm like, who the heck is Ironheart? What is this character? So then, you know, I then go on Google and start looking it up because I was like, I have no idea who this person is. So that, for me, was the only real stuff of Ironheart I had. So I knew what they looked like in the comic and stuff. I had this little Funko Pop character, and I knew it was Riri Williams, who is the girl genius and makes her own suit. a bit like Iron Man, but in her own way. And that's all I had. And I was like, okay.
And to be fair, you actually told me the suit in the film looks very much like the one from the comics, which I didn't know, obviously.
Yeah, the comic and the Funko Pop, they were very, very similar to the one in the film. And then social media got hold of... And then, social media went the other way with it. And it was, as you described it, they weren't overly impressed with how the suit looked.
No, do you know what? It's one of those things where I had no comic book expectation at all. So there was a moment where she built a suit herself in like a garage.
Yes.
And that felt very like one of the things I loved about the first couple of Iron Man films is that suit felt metal. It felt metallic. It felt like that guy was really putting on that suit. In the later films and later depictions of Iron Man, it was all CGI. You know,
the
he
nanotech
literally
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the nanotech. So he literally just hit a button, shoot, and it was cool, very cool, and still looked good. But there was something I missed about the spinning rims, the metallic feel. And when I saw she'd built that one herself, I was kind of like, okay, that is awesome.
Yeah,
that is really, really cool. And I'm like really delighted. I'm going to see that version again, like on the screen. So then when you kind of get to the final battle scene, and like I said, she looked like a Power Ranger, I was a bit gutted.
What were your thoughts, Kate?
See, I just thought, I don't have an intelligent, deep response to this. I like the suit. It was cute. It had a heart shape on the back,
Do you know I now have that audio recorded? I do not have a deep, intelligent, and that was it. That was what it was.
I mean, it was cute. I liked it, and it was very in keeping with her as a person. You know,
it was cute, and I liked it. I think that's the best response. I don't think we need to say anymore. That was it.
Riri Williams,
homemade.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, homemade, proper metal. Put your heart and soul into it, but still have that cutesy, girly. You know, she's a teenage girl. You know, element to it.
Now,
Love it.
if that thing had come out bright pink, I would have gone the other way and have fully embraced it, because it would have felt like a massive FU to the knuckle draggers. So if you're listening, Marvel, I want that thing bright pink with rainbow flags slapped all over it. Let's really, really go for it. Here.
Go to town.
Pink doesn't hide the blood like a red does, Sam.
Yeah, just
think of the cleaning element.
Just to be clear as well, there is no way Marvel would make that pink with rainbows, because they want this film to go out to China.
Yeah, they want it shown around the world and not just parts of it. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how the podcast gets cancelled in many places.
Yeah. That's our sponsorship deal gone. The
next character to talk about, we'll quickly just run through these ones nice and quick. Okoye. And let's start with Kaylee, because I know you were really fond of the character and her new suit.
Yeah, can I just say, Okoye is a freaking legend. I absolutely love her.
Bald-headed demon.
Absolutely, yeah, absolute badass. Yeah.
Yeah, she is, you know, everything I aspire to be. You know, I love her. Anyway.
If you ever shave your head that way, I'll be, I don't know, weirdly impressed, but at the same time a little bit worried.
I know, I got a really big forehead. So
yeah, I know. Please don't go full Britney. It wouldn't suit you.
You know, and throughout this whole film, you know, I was just, love her so much. And then the heartbreak when she gets kicked out. And again, every emotion possible throughout everything to do with her story. You know, she made me emotional on every level, every feeling throughout the whole film. And I love her. However...
Oh, there's a however.
I know what it is as well.
This is nothing to do with her or the character. The upgraded armor I have, and I know it's like comic book, whatever, but I do not like it at all. She looks like Predator. I don't like the headdress. I don't like it. It's scary. I don't like it.
So
scary. Oh, okay. I had to hide because it was so scary on the screen for whatever smart ass wrote that on our Discord.
I haven't got the Discord yet. No, me and Katie saw the movie.
I didn't know. I didn't like it. But you know, that's a costume thing, so you can fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Kaylee saw the film a little bit before Sam did, so we had our own little secret WhatsApp conversation going about the film.
It basically motivated me to see the film faster because you two really made me feel left out.
Yeah, we had a little secret chat going, and I knew Kaylee's feelings towards the character's new suit, so I just had to make sure I debuted that one in there because that was quite a.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that suit offended me more than Ironheart's suit did.
That suit offended. It offended you.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I just thought the other one looked like a Power Ranger. It didn't offend me, but wow, okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't know. It was icky.
So Marvel in one film have managed to incorporate the Power Rangers and Predator.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all properties now owned by Disney.
This is true. Yes. Yeah. Maybe that's where they got the inspiration from.
Just found it in the costume warehouse. Ooh.
Repaint it. That'll work. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last character then, Nakia. An interesting character. So in the first film.
Sorry, you say last character. Are we not going to talk about M'Baku?
Oh no, you're right. M'Baku is here, and I've got Ross and Val as well. You're right. I've just got them on a different page.
Oh, dude, what are you doing to me?
I haven't scrolled down to page 2 yet.
I've been practicing my M'Baku, like, shout and everything.
Oh, that is going to happen.
No, it's not.
It is now.
I can do it off air.
But
on air,
okay.
I think I get in trouble.
Quite probable.
Yeah.
So Nakia's character, now in the first movie, this was a character that I didn't really kind of get to grips with much.
Okay.
Although, weirdly, she was my vote to be the new Black Panther.
Yeah, she was. I remember that.
She was my vote because of her background of the spy stuff and a bit of a
Nothing
badass.
to do with you following her on Instagram and liking her ass.
Nothing to do with that whatsoever.
Okay, cool. Was I supposed to say that on here?
I actually don't follow her.
I like not hosting. This is fun again.
Yeah, I haven't got any control over editing either, so...
No!
Oh dear. Marvel, I'm so sorry. No, her character was one that I said, I kind of had her as my vote to become the next Black Panther because of her link as kind of the partner of T'Challa, but disappeared for a while, came back. And then in this film, again, we find that she's done the same thing. She's disappeared for a few years, and then reappeared when the Queen went to go find her. She's now living in Haiti? Running a school, of all things. But she gets dragged back to Wakanda and she gets back involved in the fight and again proves herself to be an absolute badass.
Yeah.
The end credit scene, of course, does kind of heavily revolve around her character as well. Now, when I saw the end credit scene, there was a little part of me that then looked at the rest of the film and thought to myself, she really put herself in a lot of danger.
Can we call it the mid-credit scene? Because every time you say end credit scene, I have this nightmare where I feel like I missed it.
You didn't see that? No.
Yeah, don't do it, because you did that to me and it really freaked me out, because everyone said, oh, there's a mid-credit but not an end, so I got up and left.
And then I texted you.
And then you kept saying to me, oh, the end credit scene. I was like, oh, dude, don't do that to me.
No. Okay, mid-credit scene. Mid-credit scene.
Thank you.
But yeah, in the film itself, it seems like she put herself into a lot of danger, considering what we found out in the mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a surprise. I think that made that mid-credit scene even more of a surprise for me, though.
But I think she needed to do that, though. If you've got a child, you do what you can to protect them, and that was her protecting the life that she'd built. I would do the same. I'd go out and rage if I had to.
Go out and rage.
We had this discussion with WandaVision, didn't we?
Yeah.
About the lengths a mother will go to.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, Kaylee really embraces these characters that go on a murderous rampage to protect their kids. If Neymar was protecting kids, she'd be on board right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But no, for me, I'm kind of with Kaylee on this one, which is when you think about who her son is and who she actually went to protect, it's family.
Yeah.
And you do that for family. How could you look at the son's, how could you look into his eyes in year to come when he says, oh, Where's my grandmother, father? Where's my auntie? Oh yeah, I'll let them all die. No. if you get the call to go and help, you're going to do it.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. Okay. What did you kind of think of her in general, like throughout the movie? So she's the one using kind of that old spy undercover stuff where she goes in to find out more about Namor and stuff. I found those things really interesting. I really enjoyed like the spy element that she kind of brought to it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, I think it was a good way to bring her back in.
Yeah.
Anything else would have just felt a bit fake, I think.
Yeah,
it stayed very true to her.
It was a natural way for her to do it and to be brought in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. She's very good. There was no real scenes or anything where I thought it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't enjoy that she was in. I thought the reveal in the mid-credit scene was also very good.
Very, very good.
I nearly broke Logan's hand. Honestly, he looked at me and he went, "You really hurt me." I was like, "I'm so sorry." I literally just launched my arm across the seat and just grabbed him and squeezed, and he went, "Ow!" I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't help it." Honestly, that was probably
So when you heard the kid actually, "I am T'Challa," how was that for you?
I mean, I don't think the people around me heard the line because I was ugly, crying, sobbing. I embarrassed myself.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think I can ever go to view at Causeway again.
Yeah, so if you were at the cinema and you couldn't hear the end of the film or vast parts of it,
vast majority of it, yeah.
Message in to the podcast because we think we know who that was, and she owes you a cinema ticket. Yeah,
I do. There was a group of girls sat next to me. It was packed, the cinema, and there were 4 or 5 girls in the corner at the back, sat alongside us, and there was a few times when they just looked at me and were like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. I don't care. I wear my heart.
Yeah.
God, they let this woman out for the wrong day, didn't they? God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
Good times.
Talking about the cinema experience. So when we went for the first showing in the morning, so we were there like the first people to see it, and the cinema was less than half full.
Wow.
Because they don't do the midnight release anymore. So obviously a lot of people are still at work. I was able to get the day off, and me and the wife went to the cinema to see it. And there was I hands up, I cried. The only time I cried was at the mid-credit scene. I had managed to hold it in. Like there was like tears building and lump in the throat, but I held it in until that mid-credit scene when she introduced the kid. I lost it. I was like, "Oh no!"
You know what's really funny here is the fact that you two basically went into this crying, emotional thing, and obviously you wouldn't tell me anything which would be spoilers, but that was the only thing that you two just really ran home to.
Take tissues.
So you literally said that. So I went to the cinema like, oh no, this is going to be really bad. So I literally went in there thinking, okay, this film's going to break you, Sam, but you're going to be okay. Don't worry about it. And then when I came out the other end and I hadn't cried, I really judged myself really harshly thanks to you two.
You're a broken man.
Yeah, I know. I messaged you both like, no, I'm okay. It was good. And you were just like, oh, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. What? She picked up the helmet, right? So I think there were seven occasions where I was like,
7.
She picked up the helmet, and that set me off. They were shouting Yeon Bay. I was crying. It was the flood, crying, just
the
crying.
flood made you cry?
There's water.
Just, at that point, I was just gone.
So, okay. Did you feel like it was representative of the tears of Wakanda creating the flood? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just.
Oh, amazing.
Right. Okay.
This is my end game. For, that was
this was my end game.
Yeah,
okay.
I can't.
Stefan won't watch that when he dies. I won't. I don't think I'll ever be able to watch this again.
No. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm
this
sat
is
here proper ripping into you for this, and then I'm like, oh yeah, my dad and his friend actually moved seats in the cinema because I cried so much at Iron Man dying. Fair point. Fair point. Yep.
Yeah.
Aunt May dying. I cried. Yeah.
For anybody. For anyone listening who didn't cry during the film, get in touch because I feel like there's something wrong with me. I'm genuinely concerned that I was okay. So yeah, please get in touch and just let me know that it was all right. and
validate Sam's feelings,
please, someone, because
Oh,
like everyone, it's not just you two. Like everyone I speak to, who's, like into the Marvel films, who have been, even people who aren't. Like one of my friends, like her husband is massive into Marvel stuff, and she really doesn't like. But she came out, oh, I've never cried like that at a film, and I'm like, there's something wrong with me.
You don't even like Marvel.
I would just like to caveat though that I am quite an emotional person. I cry at every Christmas advert. There was an advert a long time ago about opal fruits, and it made me cry. Like, it was ridiculous.
Okay, hang on a minute. Crying at Christmas adverts, every Christmas advert, because some of them are just stupid. But I will tell you, there's a Christmas advert this year about adoption.
Yeah, that.
And I'm not gonna name who it is, but that actually did break me. So maybe I am okay. Maybe I'm not a complete robot.
Yeah, you're not a complete
Whilst we're on that,
Yeah, not a stone-hearted bastard. Yeah, thank you.
Ironically, that's
I
the
try
Christmas
everything
advert I
just
like
to set
the
the
least.
level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Let's not go on a tangent.
I took that off on a tangent. Yeah.
I'll start sitting there
Go
going,
on, mate.
actually, that advert I don't like because I watch it and I'm like, it's got nothing to do with the company and it hasn't got much to do with Christmas. It's not a Christmas advert, but that's that's another
Sorry.
tangent.
If you're gonna say that, you can't just let me let that go. You don't like that advert?
No, I like Christmas adverts. They're about, like, that company as a whole, they've made a big deal over the last 4 or 5 years to make the biggest and best Christmas adverts. And I have a friend of mine, a very, very good friend of mine, who actually works for that company. And she is a massive advocate for them and stuff. And every year she puts all over her social media, oh, watch our new Christmas advert, it's amazing. And every year I put underneath it going, prefer the Coca-Cola truck. Like, I just don't do, their adverts are too much for me. I'm like, I want silly Christmas fun. I don't want big theatrical things. But anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
But this one's important, and it raises a good point, and it might actually help some children.
Hopefully so.
Yeah, but
I hope
Stefan
so.
don't care about that.
No.
He just wants to see jingle bells.
I want it to be
F the
Christmas.
kids. I want Rudolph.
Yeah. No, okay. I feel like a bad person now.
Yeah,
So
go
that's
on.
fine.
Yeah. Get back to the film, you heartless bastard.
Okay, so the last couple of characters we'll quickly talk about then is Everett Ross and his ex-wife, Val.
Now that reveal was fun.
I
That
did not
hit
see
me
that
from left
coming.
field.
No.
I was like, what the
When she first got out of the car and she's kind of walking across the bridge, I'm looking at this character and I'm like, I really recognise this. Who are you? I really recognise you from... You've been in something before. Oh, and then it kind of clicked who it was and I was like, wait a minute. What? Why are you here? What the hell is going... And then, that's why we're not married. What?
Yeah, I love that.
That was unexpected.
What?
See, I felt like I'd missed something. When it happened, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like I was outside of an inside joke. It just really took me by surprise. It was really left of field.
Yeah, it was. It did hit me, but I kind of loved it because I love moments like that are just thrown in that you go, wait a minute, what? Like a double take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Like Ross in this film, I really, really liked him in this film. Like the first film, he's kind of like the sort of
Colonizer.
token government official, he's kind of, you don't really see a lot of him, but in this film, I kind of felt like he really, really went above and beyond for his love for Wakanda and T'Challa. Like he constantly says, like, I owe my life, everything I owe to you. He literally is arrested and is going to be in prison for life, possibly even executed for treason at the end of the film. We do say Okoye break him out with probably one of my favourite lines of like, seeing a colonizer in chains, now I've seen it all.
Yeah.
Her favourite colonizer.
Yeah, her favourite, yeah. The fact they constantly call him that as well, it's just like, he's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on.
I have a name.
Yeah, but I like that. I like the interactions with him. I like his character. It's going to be interesting to see where he appears next.
Yeah,
as well.
he's a character. I'm hoping he's going to reappear like in the Thunderbolts kind of thing. Now we know there's that connection between him and Val.
Yeah,
I think
but he's now a wanted man. He's a fugitive, global fugitive from America.
Oh yeah. So,
oh yeah.
So I do wonder where he's going to be kind of. I hope we don't just kind of that he gets kind of put in the background and forgotten about. He's a character I really enjoy. He's an actor I really like as well, to be fair.
Yep.
And I think
Martin
he does
Freeman,
this character really well. Whereas Val, obviously, we know she's going to keep appearing because she needs to create the Thunderbolts team.
Yeah.
And then the last character...
I think it'd be really good to see him in almost like a Nick Fury-esque type role, you know, as an ally to...
Yeah, potentially.
To superheroes and humans, mutants, whatever.
Yeah.
I think Martin Freeman would be brilliant in that kind of role. I think that'd be really fun.
That would be good. I like the idea of that. Nick Fury and Ross working together could be quite amusing as well.
I did read a thing the other day where someone said he would become the Nick Fury type of the Young Avengers.
Ah, there you go.
I'd like that. I think he would do that very well.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, potentially.
The last...
To see him being Nick Fury's weird little sidekick that he bullies and beats
I think
pushes around.
I hate to say this to you, but I'm fairly confident that Nick Fury is on the way out. Okay, sorry.
It's something I'm expecting to happen soon.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
With the passing
We
of the
don't
guard.
talk about Fury dying. No.
My poor little heart can't take anymore.
Oh no, yeah, let's not start Kaylee off again. She'll start thinking about waterfalls or something and cry.
Yes.
M'Baku.
Yes. My favourite.
Just the character himself is fantastic. We saw him in the first film. I think people expect him to be a bit of a bad guy. Turned out he wasn't. In this film, they're still kind of keeping themselves a bit, but at the same time, it appears he's now part of the council for the Queen.
Yep.
And by the end of the film, is it now King M'Baku?
He is, yeah.
Like, that's how the film leads it. I'm assuming, the Black Panther isn't going to challenge for it. I'm here instead. Will anyone challenge me? And everyone just kind of celebrates. So I'm assuming from that, no one is challenging him, and M'Baku is now king.
Yes, we have King of Wakanda is M'Baku.
Which that in itself is awesome.
I just want to run through, I've already said it once, but he walking into the throne room and calling Okoye a bald-headed demon cracked me up.
Yes!
Literally, I was busting, a rib hurt level of laughter. Kaylee had people in the cinema moving away from her for sobbing. I had people looking at me like, what is wrong with that guy?
Wasn't that funny?
It was funny, but not that funny, and I'm gone. I'm helpless.
It was funny. It was funny.
I was proper going, you bald-headed demon. It's the way everyone else like, oh, shit. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. He has some of the best lines in the film throughout, constantly. He also shows in this film, which he showed in the previous incarnations as well, both in Infinity War and in Black Panther 1. He's a fantastic warrior, stand alone.
Yes.
He doesn't need the Black Panther serum or whatever. He appears to be able to kick the crap out of people all by himself anyway.
Imagine him in a vibranium Black Panther suit. He'd be indestructible.
Well, the guy would be a badass without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah,
Give that guy some
I like that. The one thing I will say, and again, this kind of comes into this thing with Shuri, which I just didn't get, is I kind of felt that her basically flipping off the council, the celebration, the traditions of Wakanda felt a little bit disrespectful to her mother and her brother, who both cherished those traditions. So for her just not to show up, I kind of felt that was a weird choice.
Yeah, we see in the mid-credit scene, I'm assuming that is where she is when that is happening.
Yeah.
However, that could have happened a day later. She could have still been there and done the whole... She could have walked out.
I didn't fully understand that.
Yeah.
That felt like it was disrespectful to the memory of her family and the whole culture. Because she could have stood there and said, here is your new king. Like this is who it's
I
going to be.
do not challenge, I yield, he is your king. She could have done that, yeah. I agree.
Kaylee, can you correct me here? Am I wrong?
I get it, but at the same time, I almost feel like she needs that kind of clean line. And this is my life now, and this is your life. I trust you to do this. You trust me to do that. Let's just get on with it. There's stuff to do. Okay. I need to mourn. I need to respect my brother and my mother. You need to get everybody back to where they need to be and back on track. So I think it was I thought it was the right way to do it.
I tell you what, Shuri doesn't need vibranium. She's got Kaylee to defend her. Look at this.
I know.
Well, no. But at the same time, you can see throughout, all of their interactions.
Maybe Kaylee would have stopped the spear. Sorry, carry on.
Well, yeah. His attitude towards her kind of changes, and their relationship develops, and you can almost see he's kind of gaining a bit of respect for her.
I kind of felt that he was acting like her brother on a few occasions.
And he's taking up the role of, the protector of Shuri, and she's been through so much. She's not a child anymore. He cannot treat her like a little girl anymore. He's got to give her the respect that she deserves, and I think that's what that depicts in that split of activities.
Okay, I strongly disagree. However, I respect you, and I don't want you to cry again, so we're not going to talk about it anymore.
To kind of finish up on the podcast, really. Talking about where do we think this kind of fits in with the MCU going forward? Like the films and characters we've got in this. So we know that Riri's Ironheart has her own TV show coming up. There's a lot of speculation about maybe MJ and Ned from the MCU that have really been around may appear in the Ironheart show. They're all at the same school, around the same age. Will they kind of become like friends or class rivals? Is Ned's genius going to kind of rival Riri? Or are they going to be friends? We don't kind of know what's going to happen. We don't even know if they're going to appear yet, for sure.
I want Ned to have a show with Wong and call it The Sorcerer and the Apprentice.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That's what I want. But I also insist that if they do that, Madison's there as well. The whole series. that's
Madison with a wire, but not where you expect it.
Yeah, not where you think. So I like the idea of Ned showing up in Ironheart. I think he would be a perfect tie-in character for that show. I think the lovely Zendaya is far too famous to be a cameo in a show like that. I don't see that happening somehow.
But then Mark Ruffalo did in
because I think her and Miri could be besties, though. Could you not think that they are like the perfect pairing?
I think so, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I think brilliant together. I just don't see it. I just don't see, when you look at her slate for films like Dune 2 and all these blockbuster series, I just don't see her appearing in that show. And Ned definitely. I think would be a perfect tie-in, but I don't see it. Mark Ruffalo was in She-Hulk. I'd actually put Zendaya on a pedestal above Mark Ruffalo right now, personally, but
just for where she is kind of at the moment, I'd say upcoming films and stuff, maybe,
Yeah.
We obviously get the big Black Panther will return, so we must assume there'll be a Black Panther 3. Failing that, obviously, we know we've got Secret Wars and things coming up as well, which are going to be, and the Kang Dynasty. So I'm guessing there'll be big collective ones as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot we know there's a lot still coming out from Marvel. They've just released the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. And then we've got, is it Secret Invasion?
Which we will talk about on our Christmas special.
We will do, yes.
I think.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it, you guys haven't yet, because you're both waiting for December.
Well, I'm waiting for December. Kaylee's just waiting for this weekend, because she's already fully Christmas. I'm not.
Yes, I had
from December, up until December 1st, I'm a Grinchy bastard. From December 1st, I'm like Santa getting blown by an elf. I'm over the moon with Christmas.
Christ.
Yeah, that was a terminology there, wasn't it? Wow.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know where to go with that one. He gets into the spirit of things. Yeah, let's put that.
Okay, I get festive.
There we go. We've already said about
jingle my baubles. Carry on.
We've already said about Namor is a baddie in waiting.
He's an asshole. Stop defending him.
I said baddie in waiting. I didn't defend him that time.
In waiting, he's a bad guy.
No, as in like he's waiting for something to happen to reappear.
Yeah.
Where else do you see? Obviously, Val's and the Thunderbolts, but where do you kind of see the Wakandans going from here?
T'Challa had the vision of Wakanda finally opening up to the world. You know, they opened up their outreach centers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be out there. With his passing, his mother seemed to be very on the fence about that, felt that they were being threatened by the world, and was having to defend, you know, themselves a lot. M'Baku, it remains to be seen. If you were to judge him based on the limited characterization we've seen so far, you'd almost feel like he'd go, do you know what? We tried to be nice. We tried to reach out to the world. No, it's not worked. So we're going to go back. We're going to look after ourselves. But
I think they're well within their rights to do that. I wouldn't.
Completely.
They've proven themselves.
I was going to say I'm not being overly critical. I mean, if he sticks Wakanda first on a hat, then maybe I'll be critical. But I don't see. I don't know. It's difficult because at the same time, I felt like Kaylee just said a second ago when M'Baku's interactions with Shuri, he's a different guy himself. You know, he's taken on a kind of mentoring role with her, feeling like he needs to step in. She's lost her mother, her older brother, her father, not that long, you know, relatively within a few years. We've had the blip and everything that's happened. She has literally lived a teenage into young adulthood through absolute trauma. Yeah. So he seems a lot softer with her than he is with anybody else. Just his tone, the way he speaks. So it's going to be, it's going to be interesting. What kind of happens? I do know that Disney Plus have 2 series set within Wakanda coming. Kaylee, you're going to be so happy that one of them is all about the Dora Milaje and their new suits.
Oh God!
It's. I think the title of the series is "Aren't Our Suits Cool? Check out our new suits." Every episode's like them just modeling them.
I like the colour.
The colour's nice.
Headpiece.
Yeah. So I think that's where that is going to go. It's going to be interesting. I think there's been 2 Black Panther films now, and I think both of them have given us this quite wonderful, rich kind of culture they've introduced us to that I think they're just going to build from it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's always, both Black Panther films are beautifully done.
Yeah.
Very respectful, very, they celebrate these cultures.
What I love as well, I mean, there's a lot of jokes, the colonizer joke, white person colonizer, all that kind of stuff. Obviously there's a ring of nasty history to that as well, but it is none of this film, like you just said then, all of it always feels like celebrate our differences, our culture, embrace it, love it, rather than being attacking of others. It's just kind of, I think getting that tone right makes the films brilliant, regardless of any MCU connection or anything else. So I mean, the thing is that I think whenever you watch these films, typically in a trilogy, which is how the MCU works, the middle one's always the one that's a little bit off.
Oh God, Thor: Dark World. Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, see, I don't mind it, but it's always the middle one that's not quite. The first one, meet everyone. Yeah, this is great. Second one, third one, brilliant. This one for me, I loved it. I thought it was great. So if the third one carries the pattern of being even better, I'm going to be very happy.
So what are your opinions on, award season and stuff? There's been a lot of, talk in the press recently about how the Oscars and the Academy Awards and stuff always put forward, movies that aren't necessarily accessible to the general population. It's always very, we've made this for the critics, and it's always, those films are books most of the time, and I don't enjoy half of them.
No.
But this, for me, absolutely deserves to be up there, and I want to see everyone get something, not just visual effects or something like that. Angela Bassett needs a fucking Oscar. Sorry.
No, don't apologise. Angela would appreciate your vocal support.
I just love her so much. I wish she was my mum. Sorry, Mum.
Wow, there's another clip I'm keeping. No, I honestly, stuff like that doesn't get to me. Like the Oscars and stuff like that, years and years and years ago, I'd sort of look back and see one and think, oh, that's good. Yeah, I enjoyed that film. The last, I don't know, 5+ years, it's not about that anymore. It's like you said, it's sort of, oh, this film is won Best Picture. It was translated from 15 different languages, and everyone in the film speaks sign language whilst also doing it in different tones. And I look at it and I go, about 5,000 people have watched that. Those 5,000 people loved it. But then I got this film here that is like been watched by nearly 300 million people around the planet who also loved it, but didn't even get nominated.
Yeah.
Because you don't deem it as artsy enough or something. So yeah, I kind of stopped paying attention to it. I mean, it's what it is. You see these, filmmakers. I mean, Tarantino's the latest one, just basically to call out Marvel films and stuff and say it's not real cinema.
Oh, he's a dick.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, in his defense, he made a kind of point, which is Captain America. It's not Chris Evans who's the movie star. It's Captain America. That's kind of the big king. See, the thing is with me is, that's how films should be. Like, when I watch a film, I shouldn't be seeing Chris Evans. I should be seeing the character. And anyway, all right, I'll shut up now. Sorry, Stefan.
About Bill and Kill Bill, couldn't you? You know, oh, it's not him, it's the character. Well, that's the point. Anyway, get off my soapbox.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
we're cool again. We're cool again.
When you guys watch the Guardians of the Galaxy special, that little conversation you've just had is going to make you guys laugh so much.
I'm looking forward to seeing Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. I almost forgot. So we have our own Discord server at the moment, the Stuff and Things podcast. We have a Discord server where
fucking hate it.
Sam gets a lot of love.
Bullied. I get bullied.
Tough love.
No, let's call it what it is. Victimised.
On there at the moment, we have got we have a Marvel section. It had the She-Hulk in there. Anything that's upcoming, we talk about future stuff. And then every time something is actually released, we create a thread for it. On the Black Panther 2 thread, we did have a comment coming from Ryan, who I want to get your opinion on this, because this was something that I thought of in the film as well, actually, whilst I just seen it. When Shuri gets impaled by the spear, in the first film, we have that huge scene between Killmonger and Black Panther on the railway lines where he has to wait for the radiation or the waves to be able to do any damage because of the suits. In this, it's just straight up spear, straight through the stomach. And Ryan was very unimpressed by this. He says it kind of made him feel like the first film missed out on it a bit, you know? What was that such a big thing in the first one, when now all of a sudden is her suit not as good? Is she not as powerful? What's your...
Oh, I have an opinion, but go to Kaylee first, because she'll just kick your ass.
See, I don't really have an opinion. I don't know. The only thing that I can put to it is it's about the person in the suit.
And because she's female, she's weaker. Okay, Kaylee, it's not the angle I thought you were going.
Wow, Kaylee, that was...
Wow, Kaylee, jeez.
That was
That's uncalled for. I think it's important that me and Stefan call you out on this. Not cool.
Damn.
In terms of maturity and knowledge and spirit, you know, that's the only thing that I can put to it. I haven't, again, got an intelligent response, so we'll see what Sam says, and then I can argue to toss with him after.
Yeah, I would. I put it down the flip side, actually. I put it down to the individual wielding the spear. So in the fight between T'Challa and Killmonger that's being referenced, it's the electromagnetic waves messing with the suits and therefore creating the openings where they can do damage to each other. Mm-hmm. What you were seeing there was two characters evenly matched. Neither of them were carrying weapons. It was basically the claws, you know, and they were clawing at each other but not really doing massive damage because of the suits until that happened, and then you could, you know, like he was able to stab him.
Yeah.
However, with this, we have got a character who his people do not call him general or anything, a leader. They refer to him as a god. They refer to him as, and in the comic books, he is as powerful and as strong as Thor and other characters of that level.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not think it's inconceivable that he would be able to drive that through nanotech suit, being the level that he is.
Well, he calls it. He is, in theory, the very first mutant. You look at how old he is and how long ago and stuff. So yeah, he's gonna have power. Okay, I like that. That's a good explanation. Better than Kaylee's. Well, she's a girl, so she's not as strong. So yeah,
I know, right? Unbelievable.
Wow.
Not what I said.
I
Not what
believe
I
you said that.
And I hate to admit, but Sam's probably right.
Yeah, man, that must have hurt. I'm keeping that clip of audio. Wow.
I prefer Sam to be right.
Sam was probably right.
Yeah, what?
I said probably, not definitely.
That's not how I heard it.
And
That's not how the edit's going to go.
the other question on our Discord server, if you want to join our Discord server, you will find the link on our social media to be able to join in and talk with everyone.
If you want to be nice, join it. If you want to be mean to me, you can piss off.
So Holly's question was, I'd like to know if Sam had to hide behind anyone when watching the scary bits.
Yeah, every time actually. Yeah, a small child, in fact.
I didn't think there was any
helping me get
scary
through the
parts
film.
in this film.
I think that's the joke. I think this person is being deliberately rude and mean.
I like Holly.
Holly's
And
great.
I think her stupid Christmas-themed name needs to go away.
Well, I must say, that is all of my notes, actually. Do you guys have anything that I have missed out or anything you guys want to kind of bring up?
Holly sucks. I just want to say that again. Kaylee, how about you?
There's only one thing, and this is something that was pointed out to me after I'd seen it, because again, I missed half of it through
Tears.
crying.
Yeah.
There's a point when we were talking earlier about possibilities of where we're going to see people in the future or that kind of thing. There's one reference, and it was M'Baku who was talking to his people, and he was talking about Namor, and he references the Hulk, and I wonder if there's a bit of foreshadowing going on there. That was my only thing. Are we going to see those two go head to head?
I have to be completely honest with you. I've completely missed that. He references the Hulk.
Yeah, he tells the elders that Namor is as strong as the Hulk, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
When they're having this discussion, and he's the only other character. Obviously we've mentioned Thor and stuff, and apart from the Ant-Man thing when we're watching CNN, but that's the only other piece that I picked up on after the fact. That references another existing MCU character. So, is that them telling us that we might see those two together at some point? I don't know, but that was the only thing that stuck out to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
No, I got nothing else. I am done. I feel that I've said enough to get me in a lot of trouble today.
Well, that is it. That is the end of our Black Panther Wakanda Forever special Marvel podcast.
Yep.
Round of applause to Stefan for hosting it.
Yeah, you the man. Yeah, this was good.
The problem I've got now is you always do outros. I've got no idea how to end a podcast. So
okay, well,
would you like
me to take it?
I'm going to hand it back to you and end it because I don't know how to end. I'll just keep talking.
Well, in that case, no problem, man. I got this. I got you. Don't worry. A massive thank you to everybody for listening. We have nearly made this podcast as long as the film, so we hope you've enjoyed it. We will be back for the Christmas special. Kaylee's joining us this year. We're going to talk about the Marvel Christmas special from Guardians of the Galaxy, but we're also going to bring to the table our favourite Christmas film each, and we're basically going to try and sell it to each other. We're going to bring, this is my favourite, and this is why it's my favourite. And we're going to really make the point and drive it home. So that's going to be fun.
And we get drunk.
And there's going to be jingle bells, and there's going to be mince pies, and me probably day drinking. So everyone should listen to that without a shadow of a doubt. Stefan, mate, you did a brilliant job. Thank you so much. I realise I was an ass all the way through it, but I just wanted to, let you know how it feels.
No.
Would you like to say goodbye to everybody?
See you later, everyone.
And Kaylee, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Goodbye, lovely people.
And that's it. Until we are back, all of you take care.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things Podcast to join in our conversation every week.